Terence Crawford takes his status as WBO Super Champion and says, Tszyu, I want you next. In a play to try to force a fight between himself and Tszyu, who Premier Boxing Champions was not offering up to Terence Crawford in a deal that they offered him just a month ago. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, share the video, catch me live Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday night at 7:30. I'm also live every Sunday morning with the Sangin' OG KQKC Boxing Network, Sunday mornings, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. And I ask that you join the channel as a member. Drop super chats and super thanks when you come by the live streams and the videos that we do. And hit me up if you want to debate. knockoutboxing86@yahoo.com is the email address. Or you can just come by the channel when I'm live and we can debate right then and there. But let's get to it, bro. Look, Terence Bud Crawford, two-time undisputed champion, #1 pound fighter in the world, all that, bro. Just use his WBO super status to make himself the mandatory challenger for the winner between Tszyu and Sebastian Fundora. Subsequently, he'll be able to, hopefully, for him and his fans, challenge for 2 belts, because that's a unification fight between Tszyu and Fundora. It's a lot of moving parts here. Number one, Premier Boxing Champions don't want to make the fight between Tszyu and Terence Crawford. They had an opportunity. They offered Terence Crawford to negotiate with Terence Crawford. They offered Terence Crawford Jermell Charlo and Erickson Luke. He turned that down. Also, to Errol Spence. It's being said by Mauricio Suleiman that he had approved the Errol Spence Terence Crawford rematch up at 154 pounds, and that Errol Spence is the one that pulled out of the rematch with Terence Bud Crawford. So PBC and pulled Errol Spence out of that. Errol Spence pulled out of that the rematch with Terence Crawford. So they not trying to do business with him. They pulled out the rematch, and they also offered him up Jermell Charlo and Erickson Lubin. Once Jermell Charlo ain't had no goddamn belts left, he done lost every goddamn belt at 154 pounds. And then Erickson Lubin, they didn't offer up Tszyu, so they don't want to offer up Tszyu now. So Terence Bud Crawford is trying to go around them, use his mandatory status just to get the Tszyu fight, assuming that Tszyu beats Sebastian Fundora. And I told y'all, Terence Crawford fans call me a hater and shit. I admit that I don't like him, but I ain't no hater. I give credit where credit is due. I just tell the truth about him and his moves and how he lie and all that shit. And just the grimy ass person that he is, bro, when it comes to this boxing shit. If you don't like it, you don't like it. But I told y'all, I said, look, them Errol Spence negotiations left a bad taste in Premier Boxing Champions' mouth. And they ain't trying to do no business with him unless they have to. And if they do business with him, they gonna try to make sure that this next time it's gonna be on their terms, or they gonna tell his ass to kick rocks. So here's what we have. Premier Boxing Champions got all the real estate at 154. Terence Crawford is trying to keep his pride, keep his independence, and still be able to make moves at 154 while saying F you to Al Heyman and Premier Boxing Champion. He gonna have to take a huge pay cut to make this shit happen. Otherwise, he gonna go off into the sunset with no more big fights left. He ain't getting Canelo. The Errol Spence rematch seems to be off of the table for him. He said publicly he don't want to fight Jermell Charlo. Publicly he don't want to fight Danny Garcia. Publicly he don't want to fight Keith Thurman. Publicly he don't want to fight Jerome Boots Ennis. He wants this Tszyu fight because he wants legacy on the line and he wants big money. The problem that he's having is they don't want to negotiate the Tszyu fight with him. So by becoming Tszyu mandatory, you can force the fight, but that come with shit. That come with shit. That come with a 70-30 purse split in favor of the champion, who would be Tszyu. Now maybe you can petition to get that shit better. That come with Tszyu being the A side over you. Maybe they'll give you 60-40 since you're Terence Crawford. Maybe they give you 55-45 since you Terence Crawford or something. But Tszyu gonna get a bigger split of the purse. Terence Crawford wouldn't even let Errol Spence get a bigger split of the purse. But he gonna bend the knee to Tszyu. So that's going against him. The other thing that's going against him is that if he do stand on his ground and be like, nah, y'all, they ordered this fight and y'all offering me bullshit, let's take it to purse bid. Who his backer? What network he got behind him? BLK Prime finna win a purse bid against Premier Boxing Champions? And then if they order the fight and they offer it to him, they could tell him, yo, you got to take your ass to Australia. We think the fight's big in Australia, not that big here in America. And we won't put you in a little small 4x4 ring. So it's a risk. I like the fight. I hope the fight happen, but I'm not going to be naive and tell y'all that Premier Boxing Champions is trying to do anything with Terence Crawford right now. They didn't like that he pulled away from negotiating in bad faith, and took the David Avenesian fight, wasted their whole goddamn year, fucked their whole calendar up for 2022. They don't like that they spent all that time building Errol Spence Jr., making him a bigger star, doing a better job promoting him than Top Rank did of promoting Terence Crawford, and then they watched Terence Crawford come in, use Errol Spence's pride and his manhood against him to get what he wanted out of negotiations. And as a result, all the hard work they put into building Errol Spence, Bud Crawford was able to get just as much money as Errol Spence. All the hard work that they put into building Errol Spence, Terence Bud Crawford was able to walk out last and look like he was the A side and like he was the man and shit. Now, he proved to be the man in the ring. But Premier Boxing Champions didn't like that. And you know they didn't like that. That's why they offered him up Jermell Charlo and Erickson Lubin. Once Jermell Charlo lost all their goddamn belts, they're like, yeah, you can fight Jermell, fuck it. Once Jermell Charlo went in there, lost all his belts at 154, let Canelo bully him and shit, they like, yeah, we offer you Jermell Charlo and Erickson Lubin, who done already lost 2 times. They ain't offer you no championship belt, none of they big up-and-coming fighters that they really trying, they ain't offer you none of that shit. He don't like that. He want Tszyu, but he gonna have to sacrifice to get him. Cause I tell you this right here, PBC gonna use whatever purse split that the WBO is. If it's 70-30, they gonna offer Terence Crawford less than what they paying Tszyu, or 50-50 at best for him. He ain't gonna get no big ass huge guarantee up front, none of that shit. And they gonna make all of the shit that they negotiate on top of the money, size of the ring, where the fight is located, they gonna have all that shit in favor of Tszyu. Cause make no mistake about it, they want to get his ass beat. And they gonna do everything they can to try to make sure that they get him beat. I'm just keeping it real with you. The Tszyu Terence Crawford fight is a fight that I want. But when I told y'all that Terence Bud Crawford may have burnt some bridges, and that people don't like the way that he negotiate, they don't like the way that he move, bro, this is what I meant. This is what I meant. And you may say to me, well, knockout, that shit shouldn't matter, bro. Like, they need to just do whatever, blah, blah, blah. Man, listen. If you not signing to them long term, ain't nobody want to watch you sign a 1-fight deal, take 2 belts, then what? They do the fight with Tszyu. Terence Crawford beat Tszyu. Take 2 of his belts and he ain't with Premier Boxing Champions no more. He doing his own thing. What he do, just drop him? He just drop him and move on to the next. If he was a big ass name that they felt like they can bring in money like a Canelo, they wouldn't care about that shit. But he don't bring in money like that. And he difficult to negotiate with. So they gonna do everything they can to get their get back, which is they gonna take them hardline tactics. They gonna use the fact that he will be coming into the fight as a mandatory, and the fact that they got the champion, they gonna try to use that shit in their favor. And it's gonna be on Terence Crawford to decide how bad he really want that fight. It's gonna be on him to decide how bad he really want that fight. Are you willing to go to Australia, perhaps? Are you willing to take less money to fight Tszyu and become unified at 154 pounds and become that 4th division champion, 2-time undisputed, plus it being unified? Is that what you're willing to do for your legacy, for your name? Or are you only going to be chasing the bag? Because if he only chasing the bag thinking he about to milk them for all this shit with Tszyu, bro, they would have just made the Earl Spence fight. It's a bigger fight, but he pulled out too. He pulled out too, and your response is turning down that deal for Jermell Charlo and Erickson Lubin. Bro, they fed up with Terence Crawford. I'm just keeping it real with y'all. I don't think that's great for boxing, because Terence Crawford at 154 would love to see it, but Premier Boxing Champions got all the real estate at 154, and they ain't gonna forget how he negotiated with them the first time they tried to go into business with him. Not gonna forget that shit. So I'm gonna be following this very, very closely. I think it's very interesting. But you Terence Crawford buddies, man, don't get in your feelings. I'm not even saying, I don't even think Premier Boxing Champions is right for that, for this shit. For possibly not wanting to negotiate Tszyu and Terence Crawford. But I understand why they doing it, because they don't like the way he negotiated Terence Crawford, Earl Spence. So they gonna try to get their get back. Just prepare yourself. Just prepare yourself for him to probably get lowballed. Prepare yourself for them to probably say, yeah, we can give you a Tszyu fight, but we need you on a 3-fight deal though. You ain't just gonna get this one fight, so we need you on the Tszyu. We need some options on you. Don't be surprised by that shit, man. And if you thinking Terence Crawford and earn the right and oh, he can move from this to that and he can take a 1-fight deal, if they don't give him a 1-fight deal, man, your flexibility and your ability to go from promotion company and promotional company, your ability to make demand after demand and do that shit is predicated on the money that you bring to the table in boxing. How much money do people feel like they can make off of you? Not your accomplishments, not the great performance that you put on in 2023. That shit is based on how much money can they make off you. Are you a ticket seller? Do you generate revenue? If you ain't generating no revenue, then they gonna be like, nah, we need options off you. Like, yeah, we can give you the Tszyu fight, but we need you to go ahead and take this Jermell Charlo fight too. And we need you to go ahead and take this Lubin fight too. We need you to a 2-fight, a 3-fight deal. We ain't doing no one and done shit. And remember when I told y'all, oh, Terence Crawford, a free agent, Premier Boxing Champions is dead, knockout. They ain't got this, they got that. I said it's the only option. He's gonna have to come back around. Because every big fight that he could possibly want that's realistic is over there at Premier Boxing Champions. He's going to have to come back and talk to him. And look at what he doing. Putting himself in a position to where he about to have to talk to him again. Because everything running through them at 154 pounds. But now he has to talk to him from a place of no leverage. You beat Earl Spence. You had some leverage. That shit fell through. Now you coming to them as a mandatory challenger that just negotiated with them in a way that they felt like was unbecoming and in bad faith. And now you coming back as a mandatory where they can already just look at the rules for the sanctioned body that you're a mandatory in and say, well, this say you should get this. And if you play hardball with them this time, and you take your shit to purse bid, and the shit fall through because you don't accept whatever is in that purse bid, you just wasted your status as super champion and a mandatory, and they call off the fight, and Tszyu keep his belt. He's in a very tricky situation, man. He's in a very tricky situation, but I hope we get the fight. I hope him and Al Haymon and Premier Boxing Champions can come to an agreement. Terence Crawford fans don't want to hear this. Terence Crawford is not going to want to hear this. But it's best option, y'all. The Canelo fight, that shit ain't happening. Okay? It's just not going to happen. The Earl Spence rematch in all likelihood is not happening right now. His best bet is to sign a multiple fight deal to Premier Boxing Champions for big names at 154 pounds and try to get his money that way and see if maybe at the end of the tunnel, if Earl Spence has an opportunity to build himself back up, become a champion himself, look good in a couple of fights, then see if they be willing to revisit the rematch, you know, and then ride off into a sunset. That's his best bet, bro. That's the best thing he can hope to do. The Canelo Alvarez shit, y'all need to come off of that. That shit ain't happening. And he gonna have to come off of trying to act like he got leverage when he really ain't got nowhere to go. Unless you pushing him to go to Golden Boy and hoping that Oscar De La Hoya will give him Virgil Ortiz or some shit. Okay. If he go to Top Rank, you know Bob ain't feeding Xander Zayas to him. Pretty much stuck, bro. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Comment below, smash the like, sub to the channel. I'll see y'all soon. Peace out.